Well, what do you make of all that then, Claudia, before we get on to some of these other currencies?
Well, I think clearly the stronger dollar still looms large, and China's move as well in terms of dollar China heading higher is really bringing people to think that the motivation behind China is certainly the trade war. People doing the calculation, if you add in all the tariffs in terms of what it means in US dollar terms, it's about $55 billion, which would equate to about 11% of China's total exports to the United States. And that 11%, if we extrapolate from 6.3 in April, that brings us to around 6.99 as a potential adjustment. And clearly August 23rd is on the horizon, when we'll get the additional $16 billion worth of installment. And this week's Donald Trump, President Trump, obviously signing, the defense bill in favor of Taiwan doesn't necessarily help as we go ahead of that.
Claudia, yes. Just got the reference rate being set by the PBOC here. The Chinese are setting that at 6.8946, so again further weakening. Is this deliberate, or is it a policy of benign neglect? In fact, it is perhaps being dictated to by what the market wants.
I would say it's benign neglect. I think, the fixing, yes, is weaker, but in terms of market expectations and in terms of the overall dollar move, it's well within line. And I don't think it suggests that China is trying to put the fixings. And this has been an interesting dynamic. If we go to the 2015-2016 episode of renminbi weakness, it was very much the fixings that were driving the market. I think really what's driving renminbi is the price action subsequent to that, particularly in the afternoons as well. So it suggests to me that this is more market-driven and the PBOC's in the back seat rather than in the front seat on this.
Claudia, I want to throw up a chart that kind of, paints a picture of what we have experienced over the past few weeks, which is the sort of epicenter of the anchor currency in Asia, very much being the yuan. This is just yuan-Aussie dollar correlation, and that's hit a record high. Is this something that's likely to continue? And I suppose, is there a sense that the PBOC is at least implicitly using this as a response to the trade tensions?
I think there has to be that, although, we're looking at the CFET's basket level of 92. That's the level that held last time in 2017. I think if we go below the CFET's 92 level, we get unanchored, and I think there'll be more concern that China is allowing a greater adjustment in its currency than it had tolerated in 2017. And then clearly, I think on the Aussie, yes, there's that correlation and concern there. I think the one saving grace so far in the China data has been that the deterioration and the slowdown has not been dramatic. It seems controlled and relatively stable, and I think that's one beneficiary effect, that we haven't seen an even larger spillover into the rest of Asia outside of necessarily the Aussie, the Indo and INR.